So that was an award winner. It won our festival and a lot of festivals. So what stood out as something that did really well for you guys? Well, it's a simple story. It's just what do we dream about? And you don't need to, in a short film, you don't need to go into what is she like as a person. Let's just experience her world for a few minutes. Is she a talented artist who struggles with her demons in the night? And we don't need to know that. We just have this glimpse into her world, and because it's so well presented that we find it compelling and engaging. Really well shot. There was a lot of nice camera work. But the camera they're using is probably something you all have very easy access to. It's a digital SLR. If you notice the lenses, about the only scene, some of the outdoor scenes, they used a wide lens, meaning pretty much the whole world is in focus. That's kind of like what GoPros and your phone shoot. And that's fine, because as long as your subject is framed well and in focus, that's fine. And the creek scene, that was the case, and then on the lake scene. Almost everywhere else, something was in focus, but a lot of things were out of focus. And sometimes they would do a rack between them, and you would see, and it pulls your vision, your focal point to different parts of the screen. And it's very cinematic. Now, so a cheat they did, of course, was when she fell through the ice. Did she actually fall through ice, and did you put your actor at risk and have the fire department on standby to save her? No, she just fell out of frame with a sound effect and then cut. You can do, if you need a car crash, you can do that too. You can have, your actors are arguing. I like to put my actors, I don't want them actually driving, so I actually will put them in the back seat and just frame it, and they're pretending to steer and whatever. And then you can be in the front seat and with more camera angles, or be parked and shooting them in the actual driver's seat. You can cheat it so many ways, but don't actually have your actors driving and trying to act, because they're going to be distracted. But let's say they get in a crash. Well, camera cut, argue, quick cut to another zooming in car, and then bright light and sound effects. You have a car crash. Or I have a film I'm trying to do that I have a plane crash. Well, I might try and get a model and crash it, but I'm probably going to have this roaring plane and then cut to my actor walking a big flash of flame and light, and then I have this hero who's walking away from the crash, and I can have a bonfire behind him for all I need. But, so there are ways to be imaginative on how you can convey some bigger production elements without having to crash a car or an airplane. Do you have, anybody have a particular challenge in the current project that you wonder about how to? You guys have a monster in your film this go round? Yeah. You're gonna do some special effects makeup or anything like that, or?
Probably.
Did you? We did a special effects makeup seminar last year. Did you guys sit in on that? Yeah. That's great. You have anything in your project you want to? That you're wondering, how am I going to get that? Or?
I don't know. I don't have the exact script yet. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about is if you Google free stock footage, there's an HD quality and really well shot. You can get. I just took a quick look last night, and there's like shots of slow motion money raining down of the sky, or a volcano, or lava flowing, or a rocket taking off. And if you want those elements, that's all out there on the internet. And sometimes there's a fee. Sometimes all they want is you put. Make sure you give them credit. be really aware that everyone who helped your project should get a credit in the end. So that's another way to add really neat elements to your film that otherwise you don't have access to. So a couple of websites. Just Google, and I don't have a list of them. I just Googled free stock footage, royalty-free music. There's so much music out there. You can actually bust your schedule just listening to music all the time and not actually doing your project. But it's out there. Oh, and if you really want to, I would advise this, you should get consent forms, especially from your actors, because you want to be able to use and own the images that you acquire in your camera. So they need to sign the rights away. And there are forms, if you go film production forms, just Google that, you'll see forms for your actors, forms for your crew, forms for everything. When you get to be a money-making filmmaker, you're going to want to be sure you have insurance too, because what if the ice really did break and she got hurt? Someone's liable for that. So I think as a student, you're probably covered under just your family policy, but I'm not a lawyer, so just be careful. Any questions so far? Catherine, you have any questions?
So all of you know how to do credits at the end of the movie, because we had some movies that were turned into the festival last year that didn't have credits at the end. So I guess since it's important to put that in. It really does. It's a finishing.
And in fact, we had one that might have been Snow Day. The first version they submitted didn't credit the music. And well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to screen it because I don't want AMI or whoever the industry is that owns that song, that they're not going to come after us. But let's try and be professional. So let's do it like a pro would, and that means get the rights and put the credit in.
And so I'll just make a comment. My son made a movie last year, and I don't remember the band or anything that he used, but it wasn't free music. But he contacted the publisher, or I don't know actually who he contacted, but on the CD it had who he should contact. And he contacted them and told them he wanted to use it for a school project, and they said fine, as long as you don't use it for commercial gain, but you're just using it for a school project. So he was able to use music that wasn't free, but he got permission and he gave him credit. So there's
we had a number of films where
and he wasn't
really
the only
well-known
one.
songs, and they got permission.
So if you find some music you just really want to use, but it's not in the free music, I'd go ahead and contact them and see if they'll let you use it, because I think almost all of the ones that we talked to, they gave them permission for the school project. So.